Once upon a time there lived a lovely girl with a beautiful name of Amelia. The girl's mother always taught her that between beauty and intelligence one should always choose beauty. Years passed, the girl grew up and became a successful supermodel. The job, although lucrative, seemed incredibly boring to Amelia, not the ration schedules. The preening photographers only reinforced this feeling. But one day at one of the shows, the girl meets a millionaire. Harry falls in love with him and soon moves into his huge house. One day Amelia wakes up from the noise coming from Harry's office and goes to check. The man has been laboring since morning to hang a giant shelf on the wall. Usually Gary hired people to do this kind of work, but this was the one he wanted to put up himself. After all, it was a gift for his beloved. Amelia is pleasantly surprised, but doubts that all her shoes will fit in there. Then Harry excitedly informs her that the shelf is for herself. Amelia will sit there. He will be able to admire with his beautiful girl at any moment. And it will inspire Harry to launch 100 more new businesses. The girl's puzzled. What about the job? To hell with it, said Harry. Because a boring and ordinary life doesn't suit such an extraordinary girl. All she needs is to sit on a shelf and be loved. After a moment's thought, Amelia agrees and climbs out on the shelf, and Harry carefully puts a pillow under her back, and he himself goes to prepare breakfast. Soon the couple played a wedding, at which mistletoe in a wedding dress still sat on the shelf. Guests welcomed the young ones, and Harry made a solemn toast in honor of his beloved wife. Later that night, when everyone had dispersed, Gary went up to Amelia, and they spent their wedding night on the shelf. Every new day the man gave his beloved various expensive gifts and tried to celebrate even foreign holidays with her. Amelia in turn tried to occupy herself with something, such as reading magazines, exercise and manicures. Sometimes Amelia worried that she distracted her husband from work and communication with business partners, but the man assured that it did not distract him from her. Time passed and slowly Harry's feelings began to cool down more and more. The man limited himself to simple air kisses instead of gifts, and then stopped noticing his wife altogether. Wanting to get his attention somehow, Amelia tried to talk to him, but Harry asked her to shut up. So gradually his wife became a mere decoration on the wall and resembled more of a trophy. Once the girl made another attempt to draw attention to herself and put on her most spectacular dress, but Harry did not even look at her and moved the table so that now sit Amelia back, which greatly offended her. 3 years had passed since then. The joyless Amelia still sat on the shelf and waited for her husband, who no longer came into the office. Realized that this could not go on any longer. The girl began to scream loudly and then decided to leave the shelf, but in the years she had been on it, the distance to the floor had begun to seem just huge. Dropping her shoes one by one, Amelia jumped off on her own. In her understanding the flight lasted for ages, but quite quickly, having recovered from the fall, the girl stood up. The muscles of her legs were atrophied, and she had to learn to walk again. But not a problem. Walking with a clumsy gait towards the pool, Amelia walked outside for the first time in years. Immediately, the world shone in new colors for her. The cool summer water and brightly colored tennis balls made the woman unprecedentedly excited. Rejoicing like a child, Amelia traveled to town in a mail truck, where she began greeting every passerby because of her lack of socialization. Some man agreed to give her a ride to the coast, and there Amelia, dancing with happiness, tore up someone's parking ticket, chased her dog, and attended a yoga class. To top it off, the woman started dancing on the beach and then threw herself into the water. The cold wave that rolled over her brought Amelia to her senses. Shivering from the cold, the woman goes ashore and asks strangers for a towel, but people don't care about her needs and refuse her request. So the wet frozen woman makes her way back to the center of town. Walking along a small street, Amelia notices a cosmetics store and decides to look in it. To clean herself up, she washes off her mascara and uses the samples to make her. Meanwhile, the saleswoman Jordan is watching her. The woman approaches to compliment Amelia, thinking she is a makeup artist, because how else to explain her skills? However, Amelia corrects Jordan and informs her that her job is just to sit on a shelf like a trophy in a rich man's possession, but Jordan doesn't judge her for it because her mother taught her that the most important thing is to be happy. Natalie said that her mother had taught her to choose between beauty and intelligence, but Jordan pointed out that you didn't have to choose at all, and you could have both. These words were a revelation to Amelia, for she had never thought about it before. At the end Jordan offers to make a purchase, as he works on commission. But, alas, Amelia has no money. Back at the mansion, Amelia decides to put an end to her past forever and smashes the notorious shelf with a poker, and a year later she opens her own cosmetics store, where she welcomes guests sitting on the new shelf. On the back is a neon sign "Let everyone watch", so the woman demonstrates her beauty and at the same time her intelligence, as she can run a business while sitting on the shelf. However, people pay no attention to the woman, only occasionally limiting themselves to a brief greeting.